This is good. How's it going? How are you today?
Good. It's going good today. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing good. So tell us why you're here.
Um, well, basically, I saw you in my polyrad class, right? And I thought, might as well ask him some more questions, see what his opinions are, see what, where specifically for me, see where he got his information from.
Sure.
Um, but yeah, that's really it.
So you believe that we live on a globe, as most people do, as
Yeah.
I used to. And I'll let you ask me any questions you want. I'll answer the best I can. And at the end of this, I'm going to ask you why you think you live on a globe.
Okay.
All right.
Well, you know, since I guess since you stated it, you used to be a globe earther.
We all did.
Um, what was like the thing that made you change your mind or like start thinking about it?
So the main thing was the fact that we can see too far. So on a flat Earth, your horizon is an optical place. The higher you go, the farther you can see. But on a globe, the horizon is a physical place. Do you know what I mean by that? So here's a globe, and my mouth is hidden behind the globe, and you can't see it because there's a physical limitation to what you can see. Physical.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they want you to believe that they want you to believe that the earth is so big that you can't see the curve, but you can see boats go over the horizon. So that was interesting to me. And I watched all these videos where they zoom boats back in. Now, some of the times you can zoom boats back in, but sometimes you can't. So there's several reasons for that. And and so I went and I bought I like I'm not just going to believe a YouTube video. I'm gonna go out and prove this myself because I live on the water and I know where things are and stuff. So here is let me just show you a video here. So this is a flat horizon, and you don't see any boats out here because your eyes can't resolve the boat. But as I zoom in, I'm making this bigger and bigger and bigger. And as I do, all of a sudden your eyes can resolve. Oh, look, there's a boat. So that's one reason they disappear. But now watch. The lower part of that boat is you have the lowest viewing angle. The higher it is, the higher that angle is from the horizon, your horizontal eye zone, right? So these little waves here can't hide that boat, right? No, can my finger hide my face? But if my finger was closer to you, it could hide my face. So
Hmm.
as we zoom out, you're going to watch the boat disappear from the bottom up. Now you know the boat's not moving, it's not going over a curve. Look, half the boat is gone. It looks like it's behind a horizon, but this is a false horizon. This is a wave horizon. So one, it's disappearing behind a false horizon, and two, its angular size is getting unresolvable. And people say that's because it's over the curve, right? So let's look at another one. This is another example. So you know what amplitude of waves are? Waves can be close together with a tight amplitude
Yeah.
or wide
Yeah.
amplitude. So this is a day where there's wide amplitude swells out here. Okay. And you're going to watch these boats. First, you can't see them. Then we bring them in, we zoom them in so you can resolve them. But you look, these boats are in between these wide waves, completely gone, hidden. Look at this boat. Is it going behind the curve of the earth, or is it just hiding behind a wave that is closer to you? And when there's tight amplitude waves, which are most days, it creates a false horizon. Boats getting smaller and smaller into the distance disappear behind it. And globers will say, oh, it's over a curve. It's over a curve. So we don't know how far that boat is. We don't know how big that boat is, but we know that it's farther than 3 miles because it's 6 foot tall. Look at this boat. Looks like it's hidden. But then when it comes up, you can see water, the surface of the water beyond the boat. So it's not Earth curve, right? Let me show you another one. This is one where we do know the difference, the distance. Where is it? Let me see. Hold on.
I'm impressed at your like getup you have here. It's very, very, very technical.
Well, it's not
We
very
should.
technical. I've just been doing this for a while. I know all the questions that people are going to ask, and on the fly, I can bring them. I can bring up things. And here's the thing. We're not making stuff up. We're using globe math. We're using observable reality. All of observable reality says that all of the lights in the sky are moving around us, and only
Mhm.
pseudoscience says that we're spinning. Okay, we're spinning. So I'm just having a hard time. Where the heck is my um there it is. Okay. So here's a famous flat earth picture, and Globers go crazy over this. We have a camera 1 foot off the ground. At 1 foot off the ground, the horizon, according to globe math, should be at 1.2 miles away. Let's just call it 2 miles. We'll always give the globe the advantage. 2 miles away. Right. So if the water is no waves, no swells, you shouldn't be able to see the surface of that water beyond 2 miles because it's over a physical curve. Well, at 9.4 miles away, there should be 59 feet of hidden oil rig, 59 feet of hidden, of hidden height. So not only can we see the oil rig, but if you zoom in on this picture here, and this was a video, you could see the surface of the water for dozens of miles beyond it. That's impossible on a ball. It's impossible. Now, the only argument that Globers can come up with is refraction. The water behind it is refracting up, 100 feet, and the water next to it is refracting up 59 feet, and the water in front of it's refracting up 40 feet, and the water before that's refracting up 12 feet, and it's conspiring to make it look like it's flat and level, or it's just flat and level. Okay, one more, and then we'll go on to wherever you want to go from there. Actually, two more. So this is infrared photography. So, whoops, that's not the one I want. So this is from Malibu over to Mount. Somebody told me how to pronounce this just today, and I forgot already. Mount Syngento or whatever. I'll never get it right. I don't care. Okay, Mount Syngento, and we could see the whole mountain up here. Now this part is here. This is where the atmosphere is the thickest. We just can't see it. When you take off the infrared, this is just a blue sky, and you can't see any of it because the refraction of the light just stops you from seeing. We shouldn't be able to see the very tip, maybe the very tip of this mountain at 123 miles. Okay. There should be over 7,000 feet of curvature. That's over a mile, but we can see it. Why can we see it? Right. And then this is worse. This one is now at sea level, at ground level, the air is the thickest. When you go up higher on a mountain, the air is clearer, thinner, less pollutants, less moisture. And we can see 700 miles away. We can see 8 mountains in their proper position, in their proper shape. And we can see most of the mountain because there's hills and valleys blocking the bottom parts of the mountain because the angle is the least. The tops of these mountains should be over 40 miles below a physical curve. Does that mean the earth is flat? No, not necessarily. Either the earth is flat or it's over 1,000 times bigger than they tell us. If it's 1,000 times bigger than they tell us, does that mean there's 8,000 continents? I don't think it's 1,000 times bigger than they tell us. I think it's flat. The physics of water at rest lay flat, except for a drop. Globers will look, a drop makes a ball, when the astronauts, nonsense. Anything bigger than a gallon of water at rest, lie flat. Go ahead. Take it away.
Okay. Those were good. Those are good points. I want to move in like the total opposite direction, like
Go.
literally up, right? When you showed us in Polyrad, you showed us a quick model of where there's the moon and then there's the sun, and they sort of do something like this. How does the sun not just, if it is like that, how does the sun just not light up the entire,
good
disk?
Yeah, because the sun is small and local, and you can actually do this yourself. Imagine yourself in a big giant gymnasium, big, like 10 times bigger than the gymnasium at your school, and all the lights are out. And there's no windows. Okay. And you're at the one end of the gymnasium, and you got a small little light holding it 2 feet above the floor. It's going to light up just a little area of that floor, right? It's gonna light up, but the other end, it's going to be dark on the other end. Now, if you were over on the other end, you're going to see that light for sure. You're going to be able to see it. It's just not going to be lighting your area. You won't be able to read a book over there.
Yeah, but the sun is much bigger and brighter than
Who
that.
says? How big is it? How far is it?
Um, to your dismay, I'd probably have to Google that.
Well, Google isn't going to feed you what they want to feed you. This is an actual video from 127,000 feet, and the sun is lighting up. It's got a hot spot over here. How do you get a hot spot on a surface with a 93 million mile away sun? Is that 93 million miles away, or is it very
Well,
close?
isn't it just atmospheric color change? Because you can see sort of the dark purple, then it goes to that blue, and then that very light. So isn't it just like an angle thing, like with
Well,
refraction or
you
something?
can say that. So let me. I'll give you another thing to show you how our sun is very close, right? And its light, it takes its light with it. So let me just show you again. So here is where's that sun? Here it is. So I got my drone up. It was a freezing cold day. Below it was like 31, 32 degrees, super clear, not a cloud in the sky. We barely ever get days like this anymore. And if the earth was spinning, the sun should go down, 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 and it should keep on going. But it didn't. It went down, 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 and then it just sat there. It just stopped right here. It sat here. Now, my friends over at the beach over here, they said they saw the sun disappear from the bottom up 10 minutes ago. I'm still watching the sun. What's it doing? Why did it stop going down? It's just sitting here. This is physical reality, and it takes its light with it. It no longer can push through the atmosphere. Okay, I'm just repeating it back and forth here.
Hmm.
Right?
But
And go ahead.
wouldn't isn't that just the hue, like the because of how bright, in my opinion, because how bright the sun is, that's just a hue from the sun. Like the sun and all that is just a small part of that photo or the video,
Well,
but it's just the hue, isn't it?
so
Like
let,
it,
let me ask you a question. Is this
yeah.
photographer on a ball falling over backwards faster than the speed of sound? Or is he sitting there perfectly still, watching this light move farther and farther away from him, taking its light with it? Which one does your common sense tell you, not your Rockefeller funded textbooks? What's
Um,
going on? What is going on here? Where's the light going? It's just
it's going
going
down.
away. No, it's going away. It's going away. So when you watch something go away, it looks like it's going down. Let me show you. Um, so here's what did I show you this in class? Perspective grid.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I showed you this, right?
Yep.
Okay, so that's just the sun going away, and it looks like it's going down. It goes beyond. It goes beyond the building, right? It goes beyond your again everything. Mountains, clouds at their height look like they're at your eye level from a distance. They all look like they're at your eye level. For example, here is this the one I want? Here is right. So you're looking at this picture. It looks like we're looking out across the pier. In reality, we're looking straight up. Can you see it?
Uh,
Watch. That's a building. Get rid of the sun, get rid of that. We're looking straight up at a building. Okay. Now we watch the sun. It's moving away. Now use your common sense. You're standing on the street. Let's say we're in New York City, and
mm,
the sun goes all the way there. Is the sun below the horizon now, or is it just beyond the building?
it's just beyond the building.
Now, if there
It's
was if
it's
there was
out of
farm
our point of
if there was
view.
farmland behind you and you went backwards, straight backwards, a mile, 2 miles, 10 miles, 20 miles, the top of that building would look like it's at your eye level, and you'd be able to see the sun above it, right? As you go away, things get smaller. So if you look across, are you on the water, or you live on the water, or no? Where you
Not
located?
really.
Okay, but when you go look at a building, look up at the top, and then walk a half a mile down the road and look at the building again, the top will be at your eye level. It's not really. You didn't go over that much curvature of Earth in a half a
Well,
mile.
we live in a very hilly area, so
So in flat areas you can see this, and it's best over water because water lies flat. When I look, I see the land is 100 in Long Island. It's like there's a cliff. It's like a couple 100 feet high, and then there's trees 100 feet high on top of that. But the tops of those trees look like they're at my eye level, but I know that they're not. But that's how they look. That's how they look. So once you understand how we see things, it'll it'll start to make more sense.
hmm.
Let me show you. Let me show you one more thing on perspective, I guess.
All right.
And maybe this will help. Where is well well when you understand how things work. For example, see this line?
Yes.
Okay, that's actually not the one I want to show you. I want to show you this line. Which one of these lines is the highest line?
That bright yellow line at the
The,
top.
the yellow line. Okay. Which one is the longest line?
The one at the very bottom, the
What
reddish
if I
one.
told you it was the yellow one that in reality was the longest one? And it was the lowest, and the yellow is also the lowest one. Because here we are, this tree, this bush is 5 feet above this deck. This deck is 10 feet above the beach and the water. So this line is 15 feet higher than this line in reality. But this is how our eyes see. This line is 15 feet below this line. This line is probably a couple of miles. This line is 6 or 7 feet. This is maybe 20 feet. So this is the shortest line, and this is the lowest line in reality.
Yeah.
Got it?
Yeah.
So when you're looking at things in the distance, when you see the sun that looks like it's below the clouds, you know the sun is above the clouds, but your programming tells you no, we're spinning over backwards. So do you know how fast the Earth is spinning? The globe Earth?
Not off the top of my head, but it's pretty fast. What
Right.
it spins once every 24 hours.
Well, but it's 24,000 miles around. It goes around once every 24 hours. So how many miles per hour is that at the equator?
I don't know.
24,000 miles one day, 24 miles, 1,000 miles per hour. They didn't teach you to think these things through in school. School has failed you. That is the easiest equation ever, but they trained you not to be able to think like this. Once around, they say, oh, it's going around once a day. How could you feel that? You ever go on one of those adult merry-go-rounds that go
Yeah.
fast? And
Yeah.
it's smaller. They have to put you on the inside because the outside you get thrown off.
Yes.
Okay. Now
Yeah.
expand that. Then that thing's going. It's going around pretty fast, but expand it out to the size of the Earth, 24,000 miles around. Okay, it's going 1,000 miles an hour, hooking to the left or to the right, depending on which direction you're going, at a mile per minute. Do you think you would feel that? Of course you would.
Yeah, but in orbits, you have that big ball of mass wanting to go away,
Yeah.
but then you also have the big gravity of the sun or the
Gravity of the sun.
planet
Let's get into gravity in a second.
canceling that.
This is the hypersonic sled track. It's going to go by at Mach 8.6. Did you see it?
Wow.
Mach
That's awesome.
8.6. This is crazy. And if you Google that, it's hypersonic sled track, you'll see this video. The sound is shocking, even on the video. Okay. So Mach 8.6, right? You have to believe that we live on a rocky ball surrounded by curved water, surrounded by air, adjacent to a zero pressure void that we call space. All of this is scientifically impossible. And it's going 10 times faster than that around the sun. And it's chasing the sun 100 times faster than that. Okay. You have to believe that because men told you that. And there's absolutely no proof, but you go out in nature, you see stuff like this. What is going on here?
It's a nice calm image.
Your common sense, God-given common sense tells you that this is stationary. It's not moving. A tiny little earthquake, a little shake, right? Go in a car that's driving perfectly straight on a perfectly flat road at a perfect speed, cruise control on, fill a dinner plate with water, and then have that driver speed up or slow down the tiniest bit or take the slightest turn. What's going to happen to that water? Does this happen to that water? It's
No.
going to go right out of the plate.
Yeah.
We're corkscrewing in 4 different directions at once, and we have situations like this. We can see too far. You are fighting to maintain the status quo with all of your friends and teachers and everything, but the teachers are the ones that are indoctrinated the best. You know what you got to do to become a teacher? You have to memorize and regurgitate the stuff that the Rockefellers are feeding you the best. If you get all A's, you can teach the next generation. Teachers aren't liars. They're the most indoctrinated.
Okay.
Makes me radical, right?
uh, as long as you're not advocating for violence.
Absolutely not. I'm advocating for God, man, government. Government's advocating for government, God, man. Okay? They want to be on the top. It doesn't work that way. We have God-given free will, and they're trying to take it away from us. You're living in a seriously radicalized world, and I'm not the radical. I'm just somebody that's looking for the truth.
I gotcha. So, do you believe that the flat Earth theory is more biblically accurate than the globe Earth theory?
Well, I mean, there's over 200 verses in the Bible that talk about a flat, non-movable Earth. There's actually a big debate coming up by the global church, mega church, right after Thanksgiving. The guy freaked out on his practitioners that are telling him the Earth is flat. So a flat Earth preacher they're gonna go at it live. It's gonna be crazy. You should watch it when it comes out. But the Bible is a rock solid proof that the Earth is flat and unmovable. Page 1 of the Bible says God separated the waters from the waters and created the firmament. Right? The God said the Earth is unmovable. It's on pillars. But here's the thing: we don't need the Bible to prove the physicality of the Earth. We know it's not a ball in space. Where can you have high pressure next to low pressure without a barrier? This ball is pumped up. There's air in it, but it's got a container. It's got a container. If I open the container, it's going to equalize into the room. Open a soda can, it's going to equalize into the room instantly. Why doesn't the air equalize into space? And the only thing you could say is gravity. Okay. But let me ask you a question. Is the low pressure of space a stronger low pressure? Turn your light back on. A stronger low pressure system than the low pressure of your lungs when you're drinking through a straw? Of course, space is much lower pressure than that. Like you're just putting a little low pressure into a straw and you're able to pull air and water up and away from gravity at the most strongest place close to Earth for gravity. And you're able to, with a tiny bit of low pressure, pull it up and away. How come the vacuum of space can't do the same?
Well, that's much less force. And you have like
what's much less force?
That's your lungs, and it's much less.
It's much less force. So the vacuum of space should suck everything up and away. And I don't mean suck. The air should violently fill the space. So a vacuum doesn't suck. Air pressure will fill it. So we get a lucite box. We get a vacuum and we suck all the air out of it. So now we have a lucite box of no pressure inside. Okay. Mm-hmm. I have a valve on the bottom. If I open up the valve on the top, on the side, on the bottom, at any altitude, anywhere, what's going to happen? As soon as they open it, the air is violently going to fill it.
Yeah.
That's what all of the air on Earth should do. It should violently fill the available space above us, but it doesn't.
Well, that's...
Gas violently fills the available space, except in space. Gas collapses upon itself, okay, and creates nuclear furnaces. Let me ask a question. This is they tell us an eclipse is when the moon goes in front of the sun. This is fake. I just put a moon there, but that's not what I'm saying. So I just dropped my moon, so we're going to use this. So the sun, made out of helium and hydrogen, which defies gravity here on Earth, but somehow holds on to all of the planets. Okay. So we have the sun. We have the solar system. We got the sun. It's holding on to, and of course, this is not to scale. So, where are we going here? So it's not the scale because these things are way out there. You ever see like a real scale model of the sun and the planets they do in the desert where they're like a marble and it's 10 miles away, you know? So the sun's holding on to Mercury, Venus, Earth, Saturn, Jupiter, all the way out to Pluto, Neptune, and it's able to hold on to them. Okay. I say okay a lot. I'm trying not to say okay as much. So here it is. It's just the sun somehow is holding on to all of these planets. So when we have an eclipse, they tell us that the moon is right there. Why doesn't the sun grab the moon when it's holding on to Pluto and Jupiter and Saturn and Earth? Why doesn't it affect the moon?
Because the Earth's gravity is canceling out that effect.
The Earth's gravity is cancel. So how come Jupiter's gravity doesn't cancel out Saturn's gravity?
Because they're so very far apart.
How far? Do you know how far the moon is from Earth?
It's pretty dang far. I know it took us a
quarter of a million. That's a whole nother rabbit hole, man. A quarter of a million miles. So, at what distance will the Earth's gravity say, "Screw you, moon, go to the sun"? What distance? You're going to make it up. Whatever you say, you're going to have to make it up because there is no. It's stupid, right? You got the sun. You got on the Earth and the moon is right there. How come the sun doesn't affect the Earth? When the moon is going around the Earth, how come the sun doesn't pull it away or slow it down when it's going the other way? And the answer is because the heliocentric system is just absolutely stupid.
So then I guess that goes, if we want to stay in space, like what about like other stars and other things like that? Are those just like artifacts or those actual, or, are they other flat
so
planes?
Do you know how many stars they say are in the Milky Way galaxy?
Oh, it has to be billions or so.
Did you watch The Life of Brian?
I did not.
Oh, you need to watch that movie. It's a great song. I'm not going to sing it because I'll do a butcher, but it's a great song about the galaxy. So there's 100 billion stars. You can't even fathom what that number is. 100 billion stars. And they say, I think that 80% of them are binary stars. You know what that means? That means the stars, they orbit around each other.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're in a spiral galaxy. We're corkscrewing through space, moving 4.4 billion miles a year. Other stars are in their binary orbits, moving in their directions. Do you think at any point, because of parallax, you should see two stars cross each other's path? Anytime? Yeah, never in history has any star crossed the path of another star. Let that sink in. Never in history, except in stories from 2,000 years ago. Oh, this star moved here. Never in all of recorded history has anyone witnessed any stars move in relationship to other stars. We got binary stars. We got spinning. We're traveling. Never, ever has any two stars cross paths of the other. Let that sink in.
Well, that's because they're so far away. Like if you want to use like the gymnasium example that you brought up a while back, huge gymnasium or whatever, all the lights are off. And you go to a distance where you can just see the light still. You're so far away that even if this person was doing this, doing the orbiting each other, you wouldn't see them move. You'd just see the light.
Well, the light should move. The light should pass. They should be crisscrossing all the time, every day. They should be crisscrossing stars. All the constellations move. They don't. They still match. Orion's over the pyramid, lines up perfectly. Polaris never moves. It does a tiny little circle. Right? They tell us, well, 2,000 years ago, we had a different North Star, but we just happen to live in a time now that the North Star is there. And they say they have two stories. One, it's so far away that the 4.4 billion miles that we travel each year, never traveling, never going back, there's no parallax because it's so far away. There's many problems with that. We'll get into it in a second. But then they say the Earth is wobbling 1 degree every 76 years. You know about the Georgia Guidestones?
Yeah.
You do. You know about them.
I know where they are.
Well, do you know where they were? Okay. Do you know that they're an astronomical clock? So
Somewhat, yeah.
there's a hole in one of them, and you look through it, and there's Polaris right there in that tiny little hole. Day or night, any time of the year, it's always there. Now, if the Earth is wobbling, 71 degree every 70, 72 or 72 years. Uh, well, it would have, since they built them in 1981, it's over 40 years. It should have wobbled a half a degree. A half a degree is, I believe, is 1.5 moon widths. So that star should have been long gone. That star should have been long out of that hole, but it wasn't. And we started talking about it on show after show after show, and people started raising eyebrows. And then all of a sudden, the terrorists blew up the Georgia Guidestones, and within 2 hours, there was bulldozers there, and they knocked the whole thing down and took all the evidence away. Isn't that weird? Can I get a weird? Can I get a strange? Is that strange?
Yeah, a little. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. How does that happen? We're corkscrewing through space. The sky is a perfect clock. Do you know about the Antikythera mechanism?
I have no idea what that is.
So off of Greece and the island of Antikythera, they found at a shipwreck. They found this weird gear wheel sticking out of a just this weird thing. And they're like, what is it? 2,000 years old. They did a bunch of x-rays and CAT scans, and they rebuilt it. And it's a computer that shows the position of all the stars, all of the eclipses, the moon cycles, and it's more accurate than a fine Swiss watch. Okay, from 2,000 years ago. It's a working model of a flat Earth. It's technology beyond that we have today. They can't believe how incredibly complicated the gears are on this thing. Incredible. So all of your history is a lie. All of it is a lie. You don't know where you live. That's a problem. That's a big problem. What difference does it make? I still have to go to school on Monday, right? What difference does it make? I still have to get a job. That's where they want you. They want you. They're hiding free energy. They're hiding probably more land. They're hiding your true divinity. They're hiding abundance. They're hiding free energy. Imagine if you didn't have to pay for gas, heating, or air conditioning ever. You think that would free you up a little bit? You know what? I could just garden and have a little fruit stand, and I can do all sorts of things. You wouldn't have to pay for all. They want you in debt. You're going to college, I bet.
So, can I talk a little bit about government then?
Yeah, sure.
Like, bringing that up, there's been movements in history and countries that in history that, supposedly, not in practice, communist and socialist countries wanted to support the people, distribute the wealth, a little bit of what you're saying, making sure you have more time to go out and do what you want. How come those countries wouldn't have said, oh yeah, there's more land out here, or they wouldn't have exposed it for the people?
Well, what people don't understand is that all of the major countries in the world, they're all working together. They all work under the crown. They're all in it together. Wars are bankers' wars. The bankers fund both sides of the wars, and it's all about depopulation and controlling the people. Everything is about keeping the population as low as possible, because if we get too big, our collective thought becomes too powerful for them to control. You know about the Maharaji effect, where people meditate or pray together and things happen? And they don't want us getting to the point. They tell us that we're overpopulated, but I believe, and there's a lot of evidence to it, that back in the 1800s, there was 100 billion people here.
I don't know about that.
Well, you don't know about anything because you believe in the Wild West, when the truth is all of the major buildings were already here in the 1800s. Cities were already here. All of the cathedrals that you look at them that they don't build anymore, they were here already. Right? Let me show you. Let me just show you. This is a little sidetrack, but it's kind of important.
Fair enough.
So here is What's going on there? I'm hearing some crazy noise. Here's a
I
picture
know. I'm sorry.
from the 1800s. What's this building? That's the Lincoln Memorial in Washington D.C. It's already here. And if you look in today in some of the construction pictures from this century, there's another building below that building. There's another building below that building. They don't want us to know about giants. These are some of the smaller giants that were here. There's videos of these people walking around. Then you look at stuff like this that gets exposed. What is this? This is something that's way underground. And they won't teach you about star forts. These things are all over the earth. They're everywhere. They're energetic buildings. They say, "Oh, there were forts, and this is how they fortified." And no, these things are all over the place, and there's no explanation on how they were built and
They,
how they were everywhere.
they were built by militaries for defense.
No, that's what they tell you. This is all about cymatics and energy. And if you look at, I wish I had some pictures for you. Some of the stuff that they built, they tell you the Great Wall of China was to keep out the Mongols, but the cannon shoots, were on the wrong side. It was all wrong. Okay, I believe this is the San Francisco World Fair. Supposedly they built it, had the fair for 6 months, and then tore the whole thing down. This stuff was here. It was founded. Here's in New York City. They were doing building a building, and they found out that there's a building underneath the streets. There's buildings underneath the streets. They didn't even know it was there. And when you start looking into this stuff, and here's a picture of them digging out after a mud flood. Like, what are these buildings? What is going on here? There was a worldwide mud flood. This is not a theory. Now, this is in Salt Lake City. This was supposedly built before they had cement plants, before they had power tools, before they had cars. They had horses and buggies, and they built this building in the middle of nowhere with what? This is from a previous civilization that they don't want you to know about. Most of the wars that are happening are blowing up the old world evidence. It's what happened in Iraq. It's what's happening now in Ukraine. They're hiding the old world. And once you understand, that it gets crazy. I mean, this was built in the 1700s. What? Who's building this stuff? 1800s. They build things into the side of mountains. Horse and buggies building these cymatic things.
I would say, yeah, they did. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're well indoctrinated, but when you finally look into this stuff, they tell you this was built in 1 year in 1815 or whatever it was, or 1915. No,
that would have taken 4 or 5, 6, 7 years.
Yeah, well, in today, and if we could do it today, but this stuff was built in. If you go look up if you look at the history of these buildings, it's absolutely ridiculous. And then everything burns. Everything gets burnt down. On my app, you should get my app. There's a in the homeschool section, there's a thing called the modern what's it called? It's called the My Lunch Break, and he breaks down the story behind these buildings. And once you see it, once you take the time to look, then it's undeniable. It's completely undeniable that this stuff comes from the previous civilization that was here. Not aliens from outer space. That's ridiculous. It comes from previous civilizations that were here, and they don't want us to know about it.
But why would they care? Like, why would they care if it was that?
Because if people find out that this place is bigger, more abundant, that we're at the center of creation, governments would lose control over us. They wouldn't be able to keep us as their slaves. Rockefellers, who fund the school system, they took it over in the early 1900s. They said they don't want a society of thinkers. They want a society of workers working for them. So they took over the medical system. They took over the food. They took over everything. And so we're living in these shorter lifespans, sick. They want us. The stated goal of Big Pharma is to have every kid, every human on at least 3 lifelong medications. to keep them sick and tired, to keep them unable to think. Fluoride in the water to calcify your pineal gland so you can't connect to consciousness. That's what they're doing. And the amazing thing is that people that are unaware are fighting for their own slavery. They're fighting to say, no, no, this is all good. This is all good. When the truth is, it's all bad.
Well, that's a lot to take in, Dave.
It is. So here's my recommendation for you. What kind of phone do you have?
iPhone.
You have an iPhone.
Yep.
Okay. This is my app. I'm going to gift it to you. I'm going to send it to your email, and you're going to download it for free. Okay? You with me?
Okay. Yeah.
And every day there's a new featured video right here. Watch that video each day and watch the videos that come after it. If you're like, hey, that was pretty good, let me hit the archive button right here. Watch some other ones. Or you can hit the question mark and up will come questions like, well, what about the Coriolis effect? Or, where does the sun go? I want to learn more about that. You click that button and up will come all the videos that YouTube is hiding from you that they don't want you to see. And so watch those videos and then don't believe them. Go out and verify it yourself. If you hit the web button right here and you scroll down, there's a button called experiments right here.
Mm-hmm.
Watch, so we've done the experiments for you. We've documented them. They're not like, oh, look at this camera trick. No, we've done the experiments for you. So let me just show you one of the experiments. Okay. Keep saying okay. I do that a lot. So here's a lake, so straight lake, and it's 8 miles. And so this guy goes on the lake when it was frozen. So large bodies of water at rest lie flat. Frozen lake is water at rest that froze, so it's as flat as can be. His camera is just 6 inches off the ground, less than a foot. And he has these lasers. This one's at 8 miles, 7 miles, 6 miles, and 5 miles. Doesn't sound like a lot, but according to the Pythagorean theorem, to globe math, on Earth with a radius of with a circumference of 24,901 miles, this lens should be, and I rounded way down. It's really closer to 40, 30 feet behind a physical curve, 30 feet hidden, 22 feet, 15 feet, and 9 feet. But for some reason, they all show up right on the same level. If the Earth was a globe, we could not see any of these, but for some reason, they're all refracting up from behind something. Nothing ever is behind something and then whoop, refracts up so you can see it. Never. Now, something could be on top of something, and as it goes away, it gets hidden behind a refraction, a reflection, but nothing pops up from behind. We can see these. This is all you need to understand there is no curvature, no ball. What difference does it make? If you were living in a box and that was your whole world, and I said, there's a whole house out here and a yard and a town and other countries, and you'd be like, what difference does it make? I'm in my box. I love my box. It's got pictures on the wall. It's got a little place in the corner for me to pee and poop. Okay. That's your whole world. When the truth is, there's more out here. You are a powerful being. And they're trying to turn you into a working slave. And when you're done working, they hope you die as fast as possible. And I'm the radical because I'm looking at reality.
Okay. Well, then what about people who, like politicians? Are they all in on it, or
absolutely not? Most of them have no idea. Joe Biden doesn't even know that he's president, if that's the real Joe Biden. Most of them don't know. It's only the royal families, the people that are way, way, way up the chain of command that know. But there's a lot of people that know. Pilots. In the frequently asked questions section, if you go to our all pilots and scientists in on it, and you click that, we have a video that just came out recently. 3 hours, 28 pilots, major airlines, that are all talking about flat Earth. All of the major airline pilots, they know, but they can't talk about it because they get grounded. All the whistleblowers are here. They're all here. Astronaut whistleblowers, pilots, scientists, but they all have to keep quiet because they want to stay in the matrix and, you know, keep getting their paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
But they're here. They're here. There's tons, but Google won't let you find any of these videos. Right? This woman worked for a major airline. She did a presentation on flat Earth. She was grounded the next day. Never flew again. Did we look at flight routes?
I think we looked at flight routes a little bit in Polyrad, making more sense going on a flat Earth than a globe Earth.
Yeah, they certainly do. Let's just look at a couple. What about this? So they tell us, you know, from California to wherever over here, it goes this is the Great Circle route. But if you look at it on a flat Earth, it touches all the same land points in a straight line. It's just a straight line. Pretty crazy.
Okay.
So here, let's look at another one. So here's one, right? Buenos Aires to Johannesburg. Buenos Aires to Johannesburg. Wait a minute. Why did you go all the way up here to Amsterdam and down? Well, that looks a little more realistic. Let's look at another one. How about Abu Dhabi to Auckland, stops in Tokyo. Tokyo's all the way over here. Wait, why didn't it just fly across here? Well, Tokyo's right there on a flat Earth map. The World Cup flew to Rome before they flew back to Buenos Aires. Why didn't they just fly this way? Because Qatar, Rome, Buenos Aires. This one goes all the way up here and all the way down because it goes here, refuels, and continues over. Has to stop somewhere. It's a long flight. Right? Why doesn't it go right across here? It makes all of these stops.
Mm-hmm.
So this is Amelia Earhart. She went all the way around. She circumnavigated the world. If you walk around your neighborhood, is your neighborhood a sphere?
No.
Well, why would it make the Earth a sphere if you fly east or west? East and west are circles around a magnetic center.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's look at a couple more. I think you need some help here. Where is it? This one. So sometimes a plane needs to make emergency landing. Someone's having a heart attack, baby, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So this flight from New York City to Hawaii had an emergency right about here. Could have landed in LA right there, but it went like almost 1,000 miles out of the way and landed in Seattle. Well, Seattle's right there on, if you draw a straight line on a flat Earth map. Let's look at another one. Oops, there we go. Same thing here. Emergency landing in Moscow, London to Pakistan. Pakistan is 1,000 miles out of the way. Got there in 15 minutes. Pakistan's right on the route. Another one, emergency landing in Moscow again, Chicago to Doha. Moscow is right on. How many times does this have to happen for someone to not be a coincidence theorist? Calgary, look where it is. Plane had an emergency right here. That's a huge distance. Calgary's right on the line. Happens again and again and again and again. Let's see this one. This one again, Moscow. Did I show you that one already? Yeah, these are the same ones. So here's one I like. This one's from New York to Auckland, New Zealand. Right here, had emergency, decided to go to Fiji. Wait a minute, why don't you just continue? Why'd you go to Fiji? Because when you look where Fiji is, Fiji's right there. Fiji's not over there. Right? Fiji, New Zealand, straight line, just to zoom in. Okay, one more, maybe two more. This was fun. Hong Kong, they were going to the UK, ended up stopping in Germany. 12-hour flight, 4 hours into the flight, mother dies. Little kids, father, they're all sitting together. Mother's dead, dead in her chair. They flew for 8 hours. Could you imagine sitting next to your dead mother for 8 hours? Why didn't they land? There's dozens and dozens and dozens of airports that they could have landed at. And the answer is because that's not where they were. They were over Russia. And if they landed in Russia and Russia ended up being very helpful, that could spark peace. We can't have that. And other people be like, wait a minute, why are we flying over Russia? What? Wait, is the earth flat? So again and again and again, never does this happen and it proves the globe. Never. Emergency landing in Seattle, 1,500 miles out of the way. Got there in an impossible short time. Seattle is right on the route.
Well, but going around the globe,
I lost your sound. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Can you hear me? Oh, you froze. Oh, well, either he's going to get it or he's not going to get it. These polyrad kids are so deep into the indoctrination. They just refuse to see reality. It's amazing. No, if you can hear me, I'm going to let you go. I got to get ready for another big show. And good luck. I will send you the app. And I encourage you to don't believe anything I say. Go research it all, but I'll show you where to research. See ya.